Marquette advanced to the championship game and will face UConn. When the Big East championship game takes place, the UConn Huskies will compete against the Marquette Golden Eagles. The victor of the game will get an automatic invitation to the NCAA tournament on behalf of the conference. After a nail-biting semifinal match against St. John's that ended with a score of 9,590, the University of Connecticut was able to secure their berth in the Big East championship game for the 11th time. Cam Spencer, who tallied 20 points and 9 assists, was the second highest scorer for the Huskies, following Tristan Newton, who led the team in scoring with 25 points but also had 9 assists. The victory over Providence, which Marquette won by a score of 7,968, let them qualify for the Big East title game for the second year in a row. Even though Marquette was unable to use their top player Tyler Kolek due to an injury, Cam Jones and Oso Ighodaro stepped up and scored a combined 43 points in the victory over the Friars. Tyler Kolek, who has averaged 15 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 7.6 assists this season, is expected to return to Marquette in time for the NCAA tournament. The school is hoping to have him back in time. Predictions for the Big East championship matchup between Marquette and UConn. UConn has a 73% chance of winning, according to ESPN. The matchup predictor available on ESPN indicates that the University of Connecticut Huskies have a 73.8% chance of prevailing over the Marquette Golden Eagles in the Big East championship game. According to BetMGM, the winner will be UConn. Staff writes, the winning team model predicts UConn will win this college basketball game with 81.8% confidence based on game simulations, player injuries, key player performances, and recent matchups. Selection of Connecticut by the Action Network. As Shea McNichol puts it in his article, confronting a more profound, larger, and more skilled UConn team is a much more difficult ask. Even if Kolek dresses up and puts on his best Willis Reed impression, it seems as though UConn will inevitably win. Indeed, statements of such nature are frequently made to appear foolish during March. On Saturday, the Huskies appeared to be in a position to win the elusive Big East championship, which would be the first in the program's history since 2011. This would be against the Marquette team that defeated the Huskies on their way to winning the tournament title the previous year. I am not going to guarantee anything for the rest of the month. With the opening number of -8.5, I am betting on the Huskies, and I would take them up to -10. Betting lines and odds for the Big East championship matchup between Marquette and UConn. Based on the odds provided by BetMGM, the UConn Huskies are considered to be the favorites to win against the Marquette Golden Eagles. UConn is betting -9.5 and Marquette is betting +9.5. UConn is a moneyline bet 500 and Marquette is a +375. Combined over or under 141.5 points. Do you want to place a bet? Examine the top mobile sports betting apps that are now offering betting promotions in the year 2024. As a result of their victory over Marquette in the championship game of the Big East tournament on Saturday, the Connecticut Huskies will represent the Big East in the NCAA tournament. Under the direction of Dan Hurley, who is in his 6th year as coach, the program has added another banner to its increasing collection. The Huskies will be heading to the Big Dance with a winning record of 21 of their last 22 games as they attempt to defend the national championship they won the previous season. Despite a poor start, the University of Connecticut was able to triumph in a conference tournament for the first time since 2016, when it was a member of the American Athletic Conference, AAC. Donovan Clingan led the way with 22 points and 16 rebounds. In Jerry Palm's bracketology, the University of Connecticut was already a sure thing to be the first seed. Because both Purdue and Houston suffered defeats on Saturday, the Huskies will also have a chance to be the top overall seed when the 68-team bracket is released on CBS on Sunday at 6 o'clock in the evening Eastern Time. The Huskies were dragged into the mud by Marquette throughout the first half of the game. This was even though Marquette was playing without its standout guard Tyler Kolek, who has been sidelined this week while recovering from an oblique injury. The second half of the game saw UConn find a rhythm, shooting 63% from the field, after the team had only led by a score of 2,624 at the halftime break. It is not March if brackets are not present. Take advantage of the opportunity to earn substantial prizes by participating in both men's and women's competitions and getting your bracket pools ready right away. Bubble teams such as St. John's, Providence, and Seton Hall competed for the right to be called the best in their conference during a week that was filled with excitement at Madison Square Garden. Marquette won the championship with a score of 57 to UConn's 73. A victory over Marquette, the third seed in the Big East tournament, by a score of 7,357 on Saturday allowed the top-seeded Connecticut Huskies to win the conference tournament championship and run the table in the Big East tournament. It is the first Big East tournament title that the Huskies have won since 2011, and it is their 8th overall as a school, which is tied with Georgetown for the most titles ever won. The Golden Eagles and their explosive offense were ultimately unable to overcome the absence of Marquette star Tyler Kolek, which resulted in the Golden Eagles scoring the fewest points since their previous matchup against the University of Connecticut on February 17. The oblique injury that Kolek sustained caused him to miss the majority of the Big East tournament. However, he may be able to return for the NCAA tournament. As the team that is expected to receive the top seed in the NCAA tournament, the University of Connecticut is the betting favorite to win the tournament for the second year in a row. There is a possibility that it will become the first team to win consecutive national championships since Florida in 2006-2007. Marquette defeated Providence 682 in the semifinals. It is now time for the championship game of the Big East tournament. After defeating the Friars by a score of 79-68, the Golden Eagles will make their way to the Garden on Saturday to take on the No. 1 seed, the University of Connecticut. Marquette's offensive weapons were just too difficult to slow down even without leading assist guy Tyler Kolek. Providence gave it a nice go late to keep things close, but Marquette's offensive weaponry was just too difficult to slow down. When it came to Marquette's desire to win, Cam Jones once again played a significant role, finishing with 23 points, 5 assists, and 5.5 rebounds. After having a poor performance in the quarters, Oso Ighodaro had a successful comeback game, scoring 20 points as well. In the previous season, Marquette overcame UConn by a razor-thin margin to win the Big East tournament title. However, on Saturday, Marquette will most certainly be a significant underdog against a Husky squad that is currently the betting favorite to win the NCAA championship. As a result of a persistent oblique injury, Kolek has been out for the entirety of the postseason, and the Golden Eagles may be without him once more. The final score was UConn 95 and St. John's 90. To advance to the championship game of the Big East tournament on Saturday, the No. 1 seed, Connecticut, prevails against the No. 5 seed, St. John's, who put forth a strong and tenacious performance. During what turned out to be a shootout on offense, Tristan Newton had a tremendous game for the Huskies, leading all scorers with 25 points and 9 assists. He was the leading scorer overall. With 27 points and 5 assists, St. John's guard Dennis Jenkins produced a heroic performance in the game that came dangerously close to being a loss. UConn has made it a habit to keep things close and to switch things up in the second half of games this season. Nonetheless, the Johnnies scored 43 points in the second half, which is the same as the Huskies scored in the entire second half. This is not anything that would be considered a landmark moment, but is a good consolation for a team that appeared to be hopeless in terms of their chances of making it to the NCAA tournament. Even though St. John's is now a predicted 10 seed in Jerry Palm's bracket, the fact that they are close to the cut line and could be susceptible to bid thieves makes a loss here feel a little bit more poignant. The fact that it prevailed over Seton Hall, another team that was in the same bubble as it, on Thursday most likely helped its cause significantly, and it provided it with at least some confidence before Selection Sunday. Thanks for watching. Kindly like and subscribe for more videos. In the comments section of the post, please tell me how many you discovered.